Welcome inside the Hall of Fame. I'm Booker T, 6-time world champ, 2-time Hall of Famer. Got my man Brad Gilmore here with me, as always, riding shotgun. Getting ready to do this thing, man. How you guys doing out there in the chat? Always appreciate you guys for stepping inside the Hall of Fame, getting your champagne wishes and caviar dreams. But man, I woke up, I'm gonna tell you, not in a good mood. But you know, when one
Oh no, he's about to not be in a good mood too. We have a frozen book here for a minute, but it was apropos because it's very chilly here in Houston, Texas, and the Texas surrounding area. We're having another winter storm. Hopefully things don't break down like they did last time. Gonna hopefully get the book here in just a sec. He'll refresh. You know what I mean? He's probably got dial-up. Book probably went to the corner store. You know what I mean? Got those CDs of 3,000 free hours of AOL. So just give him a moment. We'll have him come up. But chat, what's going on? Make sure you super chat any questions you have for us today. And right now, shout out where you are in the world. There he is. Yeah. There he is. There's the Hall of Famer himself.
That was me right there, dog. That was me right there, dog. I mean, it's crazy, man. It's crazy, man. Appreciate you for covering my back right there. That's what a partnership is, man. You know, tag team that can't lose. But how you doing, dog? How you feel?
Yeah, I'm good, Book. You know, I mean, I like winter weather. I do. I don't like it when it's this cold. I'm not a fan of the 30s or the 20s. I like, 50s. Maybe make me put a scarf and a jacket on. I like it. But I've been busy today working on all kinds of stuff, on all kinds of things.
I like visiting the cold cities. I don't like living in the cold city, but I always like going and visit the cold cities. Like when I was working all the time, just so I could put the trench coat on. The wool, the gloves, you know what I mean, the hat. I don't know. I always like that feel right there, but I always liked it nice and around 50 and above here at the house. But I tell you, man, that hawk, we don't get the hawk. They know that's Chicago talk right there. We don't get that too much here in Houston. But I tell you, man, it's cold out there right now, man. I'm serious. As well as it's raining and cold. I don't mind one or the other, you know what I mean? But when they mix it like that, Mother Nature is telling you something, man. So I'm gonna sit at home tonight, give me some hot cocoa here after the show, and put the fireplace on and try to check out a movie or something. I got some steak in the oven, and everything's good here in the household.
By the way, remind me to get your recipe for the fried crab salad. I want to try that one out here at the Hacienda de la Gilmore. But I'm with you on the cold. Like there's been this coat that I've had in my closet for about 2 years now, just waiting for a day like tomorrow or Saturday where it's gonna be nice and cold that I can really bring it out. You know what I mean? Bring it out in style too. But I'm not a jet flyer like you. I don't go to New York every other day or every other week. So I don't have the ability to get these winter fits off like I'd like. Because I think that the winter is where you can really go for it. You know what I mean? You can really dress in the winter.
No doubt. I mean, I love the suit and the leather gloves. You know what I mean? The tie and all that going on. I mean, I love that, seriously. And like I said, you don't get a chance. For me, I always loved doing it, you know, like when I would go to England. I always felt like I was James Bond. You know what I mean? So I would dress up. I remember one time we went to a club in England, and literally, and I raised my right hand on this one right here. I'm telling the truth. Me and some of the boys went to a club, and I was the only one that could get in. I was looking good, man. I was dressed to the nines, and they were like everybody else. They waved, they waved them off. They let the brother in, man. And that's happened to me a couple of times around the world. So, guys, make sure when you go into these clubs, like in Australia, certain places around the world, make sure you're looking good if you're a foreigner. I can't speak on what it's like for the locals, but if you're a foreigner, make sure you're looking good. You're tight and right, because you will get bounced in a heartbeat. And that's just a word from the wise.
Let me ask you something, because you're a man. You got a couple tats that we've seen you have in the ring over the years, right? You got a nice back piece we saw in the pre-show pose. Down a couple things. I'll bring this up because you mentioned trying to get into the club. A friend of mine hit me up today. There's somebody you know too, but I won't put his name out there in case he doesn't want it to be. But he asked me, he's like, "Hey man, I'm thinking about getting this logo tattooed on my neck." Right. And he said, "Is that too far?" Right. And I said, you know what I did? I didn't even respond to him. I just sent him a picture of Cody Rhodes' neck tattoo. Right. And I said, "How does this look to you?" Right. Because it doesn't look great to me. No disrespect to Cody Rhodes, but how does it look to you? And I said, you might limit your potential opportunities. Because I was with Kurt Cobain's one time and he couldn't even get in the club because he had a neck tattoo. Right. And this is when he had number one record out.
Yeah.
What do you
I'm
think
serious
about that?
No, I mean, because you say I can't get in because I'm dressed like a thug until I die. That's Tupac. You know what I mean? And that's just him being dressed like a thug. You know what I mean? What about and of course the tattoos and all of that? I'm serious. I mean, if you want to limit yourself as far as certain opportunities, you might want to think about it. But a lot of times, these young cats these days, man, they're rolling the dice, man. They're doing their own thing, man, and it's all about what they can create. So, I can't be mad at him. So I look at it from two different perspectives. If he was to do it, I wouldn't look down on him or anything like that.
Oh,
Me
yeah,
personally.
no.
No, I'm just saying me personally. But like you said, just like the song Tupac, certain people gonna look at you a certain way and they're gonna judge you just off your look alone. So that's just real talk.
I know you got to be ready for all situations. Like you don't know when that movie role is going to call and they're like, "Oh, yeah, but he's got I know they can clean stuff up, but I don't know. I just think about that. I think that we've gotten to a point in the world where tattoos are really accepted by most people, right? It's like, okay, he's got a tattoo, whatever. It wasn't like 30, 40 years ago where it's
Yeah.
taboo.
It's sexy, man. I mean, I
Yeah.
think as far as I know you don't have any,
I don't have any.
but for
But
me,
if I did, would you think it was sexy?
no, I'm just saying. I'm just saying. For me, when I see women with tattoos, it's sexy. I mean,
Sure.
it's not something that turns me off or anything like that from a male perspective. And I think a lot of men may like it. A lot of men may not. It's to one's preference. I think as far as that go, me personally, my tattoos. All of them represent something. I got Charmel's name on my back, and you don't even really see it, but it's there. I got two H's on my arm for Harlem Heat, and you don't even see it because it's built in. My tattoos. I didn't just get drunk and go to the tattoo parlor and pick out something. They all have some kind of
That
representation.
when did you get the one that says King?
I got
And
that
what
one.
was the story behind that?
That was, I had to signify my king run, because when I became King Booker, it was something special. And it was something that I felt like I wanted to remember from a certain perspective throughout. And I think I got it as I was doing that run, which was, like I say, really, really cool for me. That moment in my career had so many moments, but that moment in my career, King Booker with the lovely Queen Charmel, it was a moment that could not be duplicated as far as her and I. I don't think we can do it over. I don't think anybody else is going to be able to redo that. And it was something that was so special for me. It sounds corny, but it was so special for me for it to be my wife and I pretty much against the world at that time. So it was just a special moment. Yeah.
Yeah. Because I always noticed that when I didn't know, though, if you had gotten it before or after the King Booker run, but it was during.
I think it was doing to the end. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
And then the flames were, because you have kind of like a flame little thing on your arm too.
Yeah,
right?
that was done, Harlem Heat days.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are they all done by the same guy?
Yeah. Smoking
Okay.
Joe's. Give Smoking a shout out, man. Always was always good to me, man, as far as my work. And I'm still thinking about getting something done. It ain't over. It ain't over. I still got a few spots to cover. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
Being accompanied to the ring by Booker T from Houston, Texas, Gaspar Hernandez.
It is Gaspar Hernandez versus Diego de la Cruz.
If Diego's smart, and remember, guys, this is a former tag team champion, okay? Diego is a great competitor. He should have a...
Oh, my goodness!
Well, I spoke too soon.
Oh, my goodness. And you see Booker T giving instructions, almost coaching Gaspar Hernandez.
That's unreal. Diego, once again, a tag team specialist, man, but right out the gate, Gaspar just took him right off his feet.
I mean, what a vicious clothesline. Oh, my goodness.
Oh, my God, no.
Oh, my.
I think I can speak for everyone here, especially with the experience. That hurts.
Booker T just signaling to wrap this up, Kirby.
Absolutely. He's just directing traffic out there. It's now Gaspar. Oh, no. Here he goes. Go for a run.
Oh, my gosh.
That's it. Oh, my God. Wow. Wow, gentlemen. That's all I have to say is wow.
Oh, my goodness. Or actually, to put it in terms that everybody might understand.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Hey, I've been seeing a lot of comments as far as you guys like our old music. You guys want the old music back, and I just wanted to put that out there because Brad, he didn't even check with me or anything as far as should we change the music or not. That was some 2011 stuff. You know what I mean? Where you just somebody else just take the mic and start singing, start dancing.
Right.
You know what I mean? But I see a lot of you guys like the old music. So we're gonna do a poll today. If you guys like the old music, intro music, or the new intro music. And like I say, that's all Brad right there. I had nothing. And I'm gonna tell you, absolutely nothing to do with that. So we'll do a poll. We'll see how that work out.
What's interesting by the words that you're saying is you also had nothing to do with picking the original music either. I just threw it. I'm just throwing that out there.
It sounded good though. It sounded good.
It's soulful.
I liked it. You know what I mean? It had a nice beat. It had a nice rhythm. So when
I can put it back.
I think my thing is this: when I don't have no qualms, I'm gonna roll with it. You know what I mean?
Right.
This new music, I felt just like the listeners. I felt just like those.
You don't dig it.
Yeah, it's kind of JoJo.
It's JoJo?
Yeah, it's kind of JoJo a little bit.
It's JoJo. That's what you're saying? You're going to roll with that?
That's what I'm saying.
Okay.
It's JoJo.
Look, Book, don't get hot about it.
It don't make you feel when you're listening to it. It don't get you in the mood to say, just say, for instance, you listening to the music and you running around trying to get yourself ready. You got to be motivated. And that song, it just doesn't have the right, feel.
Okay.
And that's all it is.
You know what? Then screw the poll, right? Next show, we'll have the old music back. I was just trying to come into 2022 with some new stuff. We have new graphics.
I like that. I like the new graphics.
What I'm saying? We have a new countdown clock. I was just trying to make it.
I like the new countdown.
Even a little thing.
I like the new set. Everything looks good. Everything's different. Yeah. Trying to get it.
So okay. Yeah. Okay. We'll put the old music back. That's what the people want. Yeah. That's what they want.
What are we talking about here today, man?
We have plenty to talk about. We have plenty.
What are we talking about?
First things first, we got to take care of our super chatters.
Super chat.
Callie Toenail in the chat. Thank you, Booker T and Boat. You're stand-up men. I got my thing in the mail, and I'll send pics when I got my robe on by the fire with meat, fruit, cheese, wine, a shot of yak, reading with a cigar.
Already, Callie, man, it's on you, man. We appreciate your love, man. From day one, always representing the Hall of Fame, Booker T and Brad Gilmore, number one. And I'm gonna tell you right now, 2022 is gonna be. I'm gonna tell you, it's gonna be a hell of a year for Booker T and Brad Gilmore. If we can get. If we could, you know what, man, I hate to keep talking about it. If we could get everybody on board, I know everybody don't have a job like Brad and I, where we have to move around, get on flights and go places like around the country, around the world. But, you know, if everybody don't get on the same page, man, this country is going to be almost in on hold, in a standstill until we get this vaccine thing right. And I ain't pushing it on nobody. But guys, the only way we gonna live our lives the way we once lived them once upon a time, if everybody, we ain't got to agree on nothing else, okay? But that one thing, man, if we can get on board, because there again, Brad and I, we haven't went to any fights over the last year and a half.
No boxing fights.
No boxing matches or anything like that. We've gone to some UFC fights only in Texas.
Only in Houston. Only in Houston.
Exactly my point. But that's a shame, man. And I want to get back to and shows being canceled, wrestling shows being canceled. The only way we're gonna get on board, man, if we roll up our sleeves, man, and let's get on board, man. Let's stop believing in this falsehood, all of this rhetoric. We're Americans, and I think the only way we're going to be able to do this if nothing else, if we just do that together.
I agree.
I pray to God. I'm serious.
And I'm not pushing the vaccine on anybody either. I got all three of them, all three vaccine, not all three brands. I got the two Pfizer shots and the booster.
Give me all of them. Give me all of them.
But you know, I had somebody who's a real close family friend that right when COVID happened, he got it and he passed away from COVID, right? And it just makes me think, like, if he would have had that vaccine, had they made it in time, he would have taken it for sure, and he still would have been alive. And I just want everyone to put themselves in that position. Like, if you have the opportunity to save your life or other people's, you know, why would you not take it, right? Like, if you had the ability to make yourself and people around you better, you would, right? So this is, to me, does the same thing. And I know people are afraid, and I get it. It's weird. We don't know what's in it. We don't know long-term. You can go down the list, and probably a lot of your things that you would say, this is the reasons I don't want to get it, I might agree with you on. But at the end of the day, I'm doing what I think is best for the people around me. I got parents who are elderly, like my dad's in his 70s, my mother's in her 60s, and I want to make sure that they're protected more than myself. That's what it is. Like, if I did something and I got you sick, Book, and something happened to you because I didn't take a vaccine, I couldn't live with myself.
Yeah.
And that's the reason I want to do it.
Did you hear Stephen A. talking about this?
I heard he almost died from COVID, right?
Stephen A. Said he almost died. He said he had pneumonia in both lungs, and he almost died from this COVID-19. And my thing is this: I didn't almost die from COVID-19, thank God, but I do know what it's like to be in the hospital with pneumonia. Okay, I was in the hospital for like 7 days with pneumonia, and my kidneys hurt so bad. Every time I would take a breath, it had to be a very short. I thought I was going to die. I really did. It's a story that I don't tell too often, because I swear I was afraid in that hospital, and I can't remember what city I was in, but I was on the road when this happened to me, and I was so totally at a point to where when you just don't know what's going to happen. Of course, thank God I kicked out of it and was able to walk and come home. But I swear, man, I can only imagine not taking something and ending up in that position, having to go through that, and even worse, having to be on a ventilator, having to be put in an induced coma, having to talk to your family members through video, through Zoom. It's amazing. I say if we could just get on board, and I don't want to push nothing on nobody, man. But if we can get on board with that one thing in this lifetime, to get us back to where we need to be, man, it would be a great thing. Really would.
I agree. But again, shout out to Cali Toenail. And if you have a chat that you want to send, if you have a question you want to send on today's show, make sure you send it over. And you know what? Maybe you'll get a care package in the mail like Cali Toenail. He got a couple books. He got a book from the book and from the boat.
Hey,
you know
man,
what I mean?
it's all about taking care of the people, man. It's always about taking care of the people that take care of us. I tell you, this show floats on you guys listening, and like I say, we really appreciate it. We really do. Even up to some of the comments I see sometimes on social media, man, I want to just rack somebody. But what are we talking about, man? What are we talking about?
We have another. Wait, speaking of that, we have another
super chat.
I think we'll probably be able to get this through the break, before the break. This from Alex Constantino, who said, who made your trunks and boots in WWE? How often would you order new stuff?
Man, who made my trunks and boots? High Spots start making my boots in WWE when I really upgraded and whatnot. WCW, this guy by the name of Clifford here in Houston. Clifford Lions Boots boot shop. I think Clifford passed away. I think a few years back, but he made everybody's boots from Ric Flair to Chief Wahoo McDaniels to Booker T. So I was honored to actually have a photo in his little shop there on Lions Avenue. Cool. Back in the day in WCW, this lady, she used to make all the outfits for the strippers here in the city, and she put me on. I told her to make mine high cut. You know what I'm saying? Because the ladies like the high cut shorts, so I made sure she put it down. In WWE, we had a seamstress there on clock. Actually, about 3 of them, so they always made stuff for us as well. So, yeah, that's where I pretty much got my High Spots. Though the boots, the white boots that I wear, I think High Spots made those, and I think they were like $650.
Oh wow, okay,
yeah,
cool. I didn't know you got anything from High Spots. Question for the seamsters and seamstresses in WWE: you don't pay? Do you have to pay them out of pocket?
Yeah, that's out your pocket. Yeah, you pay them right out your pocket. Hook me up with this, hook me up with that, and that's called tips. If you the thing is, if you just need something sewed up, we can do that for you too. That's free.
Okay, so are they contracted to come in, or are they staffed? Do you know? I'm just curious.
I'm not sure. I just know we've always had seamstress on call to make outfits for certain people, and certain people that they didn't make stuff for you. If you requested it for a small fee, they can make it happen. And that's just the way of life right there, man. For a small fee, we can make it happen, man. But yeah, man, that's the way that works. We got a person on call at Reality of Wrestling as well that does that.
Yeah. But again, you got to pay for it.
You know who it is, right?
I think I know who it is. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. All right. I'll just check it. We got to take another break, guys. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We got a whole lot to talk about, guys. We got some UFC 270. Of course, we have Mustafa Ali contract still in play. I know people want to know about that. My girl, started with me at Reality of Wrestling. Rok-C is rocking the world right now, and she about to get picked up. Guys, stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. You worth it.
Walker, Texas Ranger handles the bad guys with a roundhouse kick. I'm Jim Walker, Walker, Texas lawyer. I handle the insurance companies with a roundhouse kick to the wallet. If you've been injured in a car, truck, or motorcycle accident, give me a call at 713-552-1117 or visit my website at walkertexaslawyer.com. You'll be glad you did. Why would you call anyone else?
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys.
Shook.
Shoop. Let me get one in there before I forget. These days, man, I forget everything. Man, I got to write everything down, man. And tell me, Book, this last segment, Book, let's make this your Shaggy Nuggy Quack segment. I'm like, cool. All right, cool. Segment come back. I just start talking, forget all about it. I'm like, hey, man, I'm sorry, Tom. We'll get it in next week. But I'm telling you, man, as you get older, you got to have a pen in your hand all the time. Write everything down. When I say everything, I mean everything, because you might forget it from 1 second to the next, man. So that's how I try to look, bro. You got to preparation. The only luck you're gonna have. And sometimes you gotta wing it. You gotta wing it. So hey, what we got?
Well, I mean, you talked about it right before we went to the break. Let's talk about Rok-C. Rok-C, the now former Ring of Honor World Women's Champion, but the inaugural, the first one ever. She won that title and then lost it on Impact Wrestling. But now the rumors going around rampant on all the sites.
Wait a minute, before you even say that, Rok-C, the youngest Reality of Wrestling Diamonds champion in Diamonds history as well. Let's get reality. That's what she started. She didn't start ROH. She just became the first over at ROH. But in Reality of Wrestling, she was literally a 13-year-old kid wishing to be the Reality of Wrestling's Diamonds champion. And that right there was what was so impressive to me. And then she got out and showed me exactly how good she was. And from that point on, she has skyrocketed to the point where she's at right now, to where she can get picked up. And the thing is, man, I just hope, I just hope that she remember the little bitty things. The one thing I always try to tell my girls that come out of Reality of Wrestling, I say, if you ever run into a trainer that treats you differently than I treated you, you give me a call. You know what I mean? So I try to make sure they have that tool bag and know exactly what it means to go out there and succeed more than anything. Thing is, she's very, very young. She's going to be one of the youngest in the bunch if she is to get signed with the WWE. And my thing is, I just hope that the preparation that she has got over these past few years has been enough for her to actually go there and really take that business by storm. Stay focused. That's what I always think about more than anything. You got to stay focused in this business. I was asked a question earlier today. I was doing an interview, and they were saying, what guys you ran down the road with? You know what I mean? And I say, I didn't run down the road with anybody because I was focused. I was focused on being the best. I was focused on making some money. I was focused on, having a family and being able to take care of them. And I could not think that it was a party and we was going down the road having fun. I've had a few guys that I've traveled with, but you can count them on one hand. And I just hope that Rok-C, hear my words and stay focused more than anything and take this business by storm.
Look, you're definitely the teacher. I've been a watchful observer and always been impressed by Rok-C and how she did carry herself. I didn't know at first that she was even 16 when she had started. at reality wrestling. She just carried herself like another one of the members of the locker room. And then you realize how mature she is for her age, and how much she's grown in such a short amount of time. Even 16 to 19 or 20, however old she is now, that's not that long of a time, really, right? It's 3-4 years, especially when you're that age.
Well,
That's the age when you're still,
you're still in school, first of all.
yeah.
I mean, so you go into class and you're doing this, and then you're traveling around the country. You're going back to class. Think about that for a second.
It's insane.
Think
It's
about
insane what she was able to accomplish, and then for her to put in the hustle, right? To, like you said, she was taking buses from Laredo before she got a car. She was taking buses from Laredo to Houston, just to learn under you and work against the people here in reality wrestling, and then to see Ring of Honor take notice of that, to see all these other companies around the United States take notice of that. Now the report is WWE. There's a strong push, is the words that I saw in the report, to get her signed. That's money in the bank to me. Rok-C is a they call it a blue chip stock. You know what I mean? That's Coca-Cola. You invest in that on the ground floor, and you're gonna love what you see in 5 years from now.
Hey man, that's what it's all about. I'm just proud of her for taking that route and wasn't out there just banging herself around, going all over the place, trying to figure this thing out. She came to reality of wrestling. Hey guys, if you want to learn this thing, man, if you ever want to think about getting into the business, come check out reality wrestling. We got a special going on right now where you could join the school for $150. Boom. And that's my thing right there. It's all inclusive. We signed up 3 students last night to school, and they was so freaking excited to meet me. It was really awesome, because I know I got some more clay to mold. All right, I know now it's time to go to work even more so. But that's what reality of wrestling is all about, guys. Go to realityofwrestling.com if you want to be a part of this thing, because you see the commercials, you see the young guys, you see the young girls, and it's all about being a part of something. The journey, man, the journey is so important in this life, and it starts when you're young, and be a part of something, definitely.
It's just, we have such a rotating cast of characters that come in and out of the gym, right? And then right when I'm starting to get to know somebody, the next thing I know, they got signed at this place. They got signed to that. Kylie Ray gets signed by AEW. AQA signed by WWE. Blake Cortez signed by WWE. Sammy Guevara, AEW. It's like, as soon as you get to know these people,
started with Ember Moon.
Ember Moon, the Usos.
Yeah.
So many people have gone down there, got picked up. Even Gino Medina, MLW picked him up. So it's always awesome for me to see somebody who
we forget about Duke Hudson. We forget about him. You probably remember him in reality of wrestling as Elliot Sexton.
Oh, Elliot Sexton, yes, of course.
Yeah,
Sexton. I forgot that his name was Duke. Yeah.
So it's amazing of the guys that have come to reality of wrestling to figure this thing out and have gone to the next level, and some have gone to the next level and of course didn't make it to the next level, but getting your foot in the door is one thing. Staying there is something totally different. That's why I say you got to know why you're doing this. Ask me if I got friends in the business. No, I got friends now. We've grown fond of each other, like Chris Jericho and I. We're good friends. Stone Cold Steve Austin and I, you can have a beer together now. But back in the day, no way you would catch me with one of those guys at a dinner table kicking it and having fun. It wasn't about that. It was about winning. And that's what you guys should be thinking about in this business, bro.
Yeah, no, it's just awesome though, really, to go back and see everybody who's come through, and even the talent that we have now. The talk of the world of independent wrestling is, where all these guys coming from Texas, all these guys, the Mysterious Q, Will Allday, Cam Cole, Brian Keith, Ryan Davison, where are these guys coming from? It's like, oh, they're all coming from one place.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I'm sure there's a lot of great places where you can go and learn and train around the world, right? I'm sure there are a lot of good ones. But to my knowledge, there's only one 2-time Hall of Famer that can teach you in the entire wrestling industry. There's only one 2-time Hall of Famer who has a wrestling school. Only one. And he happens to be a 6-time world champion. He's not. And look, I don't want to sound mean. But some guys, it's like, I know. Let me not say that. But there's only one world champion Hall of Fame school.
Hey man, it's all about trying to take these young guys to the next level, these young girls, and I tell you, they give me life. They keep this thing going. 2005, we started the thing, and 2022 now, 17 years later, we're still here, and we're moving forward. We're getting bigger. That's what's really, really cool. So my thing is, I always say, I know I couldn't have built this thing myself. I know I couldn't have, created this thing, reality of wrestling. I was talking earlier today in that interview, and I know it sounds, kind of corny, but I say, respect your elders. We've been saying that for years, but I say respect your young people. I think that's where we are right now. It's, the next Bill Gates is some 16-year-old kid in his garage right now working on the next computer. And how are we going to get 20G? What I mean? So I say, man, this thing has fueled me to where we are right now, and we're moving to a higher place. Like I say, reality of wrestling is something you can check out on YouTube in certain places around the country. Go to Roku TV, check it out. But I like when I was in WCW, when I first won the world title, I was like, man, I want more. It's time to really kick it in gear and really press the hammer down, and I think that's what we are at Reality of Wrestling. We're still, even 17 years in, I feel like we're still in our infancy stages. Somewhat. That may sound strange, but we got about 3 more years before we could actually really be that overnight success.
I agree.
Yeah.
Because it's like you said, Thomas Edison, who invented the light bulb, right? Yeah. He kept trying for years to invent the light bulb, and he famously tried and failed 1,000 times. And then he was asked one time, how does it feel to try and fail 1,000 times to make a light bulb? He said, I didn't fail. I learned 1,000 ways how not to make a light bulb, but I only needed one way. Yeah. Right. And that's all we need in reality wrestling. We've tried things. We've tried to figure it out. All we need is one way. And it's the way that we're doing it right now. And all you need is one way to learn to get to the next level. That's by coming to reality wrestling.
Definitely, man. I know we got to take a break. We still got a whole lot more to talk about. News going down, breaking news going down all the time right here inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Stick around. We'll be back in a minute.
My name is Nathan Wasser, and I'm from Toronto, Ontario, Canada. I came down here to Reality of Wrestling to improve my training and get myself more experience learning from the absolute best. It's intense. It's hard. You got to leave your ego at the door and come in with an open mind. The way they do stuff here is the next level. But if you do that, you'll end up bettering yourself in the end, and you'll improve, and you'll be able to work anywhere.
Nathan, he's an unbelievably awesome student. I'll tell you why, right? For a few reasons. Number one, the man packed up all the way from the Great White North to move down here to the U.S. to train because he wanted to learn from one of the best. But what's even more impressive, on top of the fact that he takes care of his body, he works hard, is the fact that he was trained by a very reputable trainer and yet still comes down here humble, hungry, ready to work and ready to learn, and not coming in here acting like he knows everything or that he's too rigid in his ways.
Booker's knowledge will help you get to whatever goals you want to do if you want to be a big star in this industry. My end goal is to be in WWE. Coming down here to Reality of Wrestling, I feel is the best opportunity for me to get there, so I'm going to do whatever it takes. I can promise you, when you come to Reality of Wrestling, it will change your life. You will not regret it.
Can you dig it, sucker? Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Did you hear that, Ship? Did you get it?
What did you say? Did you say stup?
Shoop.
I think you said stup.
I said
think you
shoop.
You need to write shoop down too.
I said.
Chad, did he say stup or shoop?
Just made me mess my camera up, man. I said shoop.
I think you said stup.
You did. Just made me mess my camera.
No, the camera looks good. The camera looks good.
I'm just making sure, man.
It looks good. It looks great. Hey, I know we wanted to talk about Mustafa Ali and everybody.
Mustafa, get it right, man. You can get flagged for that.
Well, see, I've heard it both ways.
Well, but it's like when people call Muhammad Ali. Muhammad Ali. And did you hear Muhammad said he go Mohammed? Which one is it? I think it was Mohammed, right? Wait a minute. When Brad just went silent on me.
That's my fault. I hit the mute button by accident.
There it is. Okay. I was like, wait a minute. Let me fix something over here on my end. Brad just went silent. What's that?
There's the Prophet Muhammad, right? It's M-O. But Ali,
Mohammed.
Right?
Mohammed, but he would pronounce it Mohammed. Mohammed Ali. Muhammad Ali. That's what he. Yeah. I don't know, maybe he didn't understand.
But I know we want to talk about all that. But this is we're coming up on the Royal Rumble. Royal Rumble's next weekend, I do believe. And you will be there, right? You're going to be at the Rumble. Are you going to be in the Rumble?
Well, I have to this point yet received a invitation.
Okay. You know what you should do?
That's my thing. My thing is I always look for the invitation. I'm always checking the mail, but I'm not one seeking out being in the Rumble or anything like that.
You know what you should do though?
What's that?
If like say you're backstage after you do the kickoff show and you're sitting there chilling and somebody what's his name? Damian Priest walks by. You know what I'm saying? He starts to walk by. He's already the United States champion. He doesn't need to main event WrestleMania. Just stick your leg out. You know what I mean? And if he happens to trip and he pops something, you're like, hey man, them's the breaks, right? I gotta take your spot. Pass me the number, son. Right? Yeah. I mean, I feel like we could do this.
Look, bro, I don't have any itch. Okay, it's my thing. If the Rumble, if I would have received an invitation for the Rumble, I would have been preparing for it. I've already been preparing. I would have been ready for it, and I would have went out and I would have shined. But no, I'm not going to be in the Rumble. I'm going to be there doing my job, talking about it, making sure these guys get shine, make sure I put them over real nice. But that's about as far as it's going to go. Yeah.
Well, I just wanted to ask you, like, and if this is too inside baseball, you can divert answering. But when it's the Royal Rumble day, you've been in the Royal Rumble before.
Yeah.
How does it all get like put together? I know Pat Patterson would always have like an idea for the Rumble, but is it just like, hey, here's who's winning, here's your number, and then y'all all kind of figure it out from there? Y'all call it in the ring, or how does it work?
Well, you got to understand, certain guys, that are highlighted, they're going to be able to go out there and do certain things. But you got so many guys, in the Rumble, they can only do them at certain times. So it's going to be a certain point in the match where these guys, that come out specifically to do, their good stuff. And they may not be nowhere in the the runnings for winning it or anything like that. But I don't think that's what the Rumble is all about. I've been in several Royal Rumbles and I've never won any one of them, but I always had fun. I always had a good time. And I think, being in the Rumble, I think that's what the cool part is, for the wrestler, that's never been in something like that. But it's all about those final four guys. In the Rumble, I think that's what it was always built up to be about, more than anything. So it's final four guys.
Let me ask you this then. When you came back was it the 2011 Rumble? When you came back, were you kind of hidden away? Were you chilling with the boys? Did you say hi to everybody when you got back? Like, how was that?
I think they brought me over from the hotel late.
You came in late. Okay.
Yeah, and they got me in there, and big pop, big pop. Boys loved it, fans loved it. I loved it. I think that's one of the only times that I was like held in secret.
Right. That's what I was wondering. Like, did they didn't, because even in 2011, Twitter was a real thing. We would hear rumors and reports all the time. I think I would have seen somewhere Booker T is going to be in the Rumble. He's been spotted, either in the filet mignon and catering.
Especially coming from TNA.
Yeah.
Because I came pretty much directly from TNA to the Rumble.
Mm-hmm.
It was crazy I remember maybe a week before the Rumble, they were announcing in TNA that the Main Event Mafia was coming back. They were reforming the Main Event Mafia. And I'm like, what the hell are they talking about? Because they offered me like a 3-month contract. And I was like, God, do you know how old my kids are? Do you know how fast 3 months go? I'm like, no way on that right there. So I already knew I was going to be leaving the company. And I got the offer to actually, be in the Rumble. And I remember Kevin Nash calling me, and he goes, "Hey, Book." And I goes, "Yeah, man." He goes, "What are you going to do?" I go, "Man, I'm going to be in the Rumble." He goes, "Me too, bro." And we showed up at the Rumble, man. So it was just one of those things, man. It happened. It was right timing. It was fun. And it was a great night.
So 2 questions on that. First, did you call WWE and say, I want to come back, or did they call you?
No, they called me for Tough Enough.
Oh, right.
Yeah, they called me.
So they knew you were going to be free from your contract.
Yeah, and they wanted me to come back and do Tough Enough, and I thought it would be cool because the wrestling thing was, I thought I pretty much did everything that I could do from that perspective, but to actually do the Tough Enough gig was really, really cool. And then doing the Tough Enough gig, I didn't really think about what I was going to do after that. And then they offered me the commentary job, and everything just kind of like worked out for me. Being in the right place at the right time, always being able to make fun of myself. People don't realize I used to, do some of the stupidest things, when we were on the road having fun, trying to keep just keep everything alive. Yeah, so I would do commentary for the back, in the back for the boys, and I would just give everybody a different name, and I would just change all the moves. I would just make it like something, and I would have an audience of people listening. I didn't realize how many of those guys were listening to my commentary back then, because I was just having fun and trying to keep the fun and excitement going on the road, because those overseas tours, sometimes so tired, you wake up, you work and you go to sleep. You wake up, you work and you go to sleep, and it's a monster. That's a lot of people don't understand that side of the business, and they're not supposed to. They're really not. That's an insider thing. But those times are what I remember, I think, more than anything in the business. Most fun times on the road, man. Being on the bus, Brian Knobs, cracking jokes on somebody, at 8 o'clock in the morning, it's just stupid, I remember the Harris brothers there. We were on a tour in Germany, right? And the Harris brothers were these 2 twins. They bald headed,
Yeah.
and they were about 6'9" tall, 6'10" tall, and Brian Knobs got on the bus one morning, and I remember this so vividly on the bus in Germany. And Brian Knobs gets on the bus, and he looks at the Harris brothers, and he goes, he's got a beer in his hand, right? in the morning. And he goes, "Why don't you 2 put your heads together and make an ass?" And then they commenced to beat the crap out of Brian so bad. They beat him down in his chair. They beat him down. And then they go, "Now, what do you think about that?" And then You look at Brian Dobbs, he's still got his beer in his hand. It's spilled a little bit. And he goes, how'd I do? That's what I remember about this business, man. That's the part that kept us alive, that kind of stupid stuff.
How'd I do?
How'd I do? The crap beat out of him. You know, they wasn't taking it easy on him. They was laying it in on him, you know. And he never dropped a damn beer. And he goes, how'd I do at the end of it, you know? So that's the part about the business. You know, a lot of people don't understand. They don't see it. But that's the stuff for me that I think I remember most than anything. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, man. That's great. That's great. I love that. Hey, we got to talk about Ali. I want to talk about what you think about Alexa Bliss. We got to talk about Gunther. Gunther. You got to talk about all that.
Gunther. You got to put the TH on it. It's a TH on that, right?
There's something on there. Something's on it.
TH, right? Yeah, Gunther. We got to talk about it. Stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. Judge a book by its cover. You know, you can look at someone and just like, say, for instance, I had a kid came to my school when he was 17 years old. And I asked him to get in the ring and to do one roll, you know, do a right roll, a left roll, and do a front roll, you know, kind of like my 8-year-old kid does. And he couldn't do it. And I was like, man, you might want to try something else, you know. I don't think this is going to be for you. I said, I tell you what, when you're 18 years old, come back. And he left, 18 years old. Kid came knocking back again. And I say, let me see you try those rolls again. He couldn't do those rolls, you know, worth of crap. I said, I tell you what, go work out for 6 months and come back, all right? Kid worked out as much as he could, came back 6 months later. And I said, let me see those rolls. He still can do those rolls. I said, why do you want to do this? And he said, I've been wanting to do this my whole life. And I said, okay, I'm going to sign you up. Signed the kid up. He sat on the sidelines for maybe 6 months to a year, and he was training, and he was just taking notes and taking notes and taking notes. Finally, we had a show, and the kid couldn't show up. And I said, hey, man, I'm going to put you in a match tonight. All right, just get in the ring. Let me see what you can do. He got in the ring. He showed me a little bit of something. He looked okay. Still couldn't do those rolls, okay? But he looked pretty good in the ring. Next thing you know, next show, I put the kid on the show again. He went out and did even better. Next show, he did even better. And it just started rolling after that. And he became the Reality of Wrestling champion. He was the champion for a year straight. Nobody could beat him. But he still couldn't do those roles. So I learned to say you cannot judge a book by its cover. Can you dig it, sucker? Shoop! Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Yeah, man, we got a lot to talk about. What you want to start with? We got any super chats or anything like that we need to...
Let's see. No super chats yet, but again, if you wanted to... Oh, yeah, we do, actually. I'm sorry.
Super chat.
Roland Curtis invitation. King Booker is the Royal Rumble.
Look, man, I don't want to step on Xavier's toes right now, all right? I don't want to, come back and ruin his party or anything like that. I know everybody still think of, King Booker when they think remember anything about the Royal Rumble. The first thing come to mind is King Booker. I understand that. I get it. But I'm not going to step on Xavier's toes right now. I'm going to let him have his run. What run he has left.
Whoa. Boom. Look at that. It's hard to be king. Now, he's out with an injury right now, I do believe, right? Hey, he's on the shelf for about another 6 weeks.
How many times did you see King Booker on the shelf? How many? How many times did you see King Booker not be able to rule the SmackDown kingdom, the SmackDown world? Not just rule it, but rule with an iron fist. How many times did you see King Booker phone it in? All right? Not a one time did you see that. I was always on the job. I wasn't one of these guys who were, sometimes in, sometimes out, a flash in the pan, here today, gone tomorrow. No.
Okay. I do remember you not.
I'm sorry, I lost my cool there for a second.
I do remember you not being in the best of, was it a 5 series on SmackDown?
I wasn't able to compete, but I still was there. I still was, I didn't take a day off. Even wounded, okay, a wounded man still did not miss a day. One of the toughest injuries a man could ever have in this business, yes. Still weathered the storm, powered through, as always.
You injured your groin, right?
Yeah, it was my groin.
That sucks.
It's a rough injury.
That sucks. How bad is like so? And how did you do it? You did it like a random move, right?
Yeah, I was working with Matt Hardy on a house show, and
Right.
I knew I had the best of 5 series that was going on, and I knew how important that was. And I still was wondering, man. That night, I think that's what it was. I jinxed myself because that night I questioned WWE. I say, why the hell am I out here wrestling Matt Hardy? I got a tournament going on here. And I took a hip toss and I heard something pop. It was like literally like I thought I broke my hip. And I remember I went to get up and I laid back down and I was in so much pain. I told Matt Hardy I can't go. And I tried to get up again. I laid back down. And then I started laughing in the middle of the ring. I just started laughing almost hysterically. Because I knew that the series was messed up. I knew it was over at that point. I knew I couldn't go. And I told Matt Hardy, cover me. he goes, I can't cover you. You're the champ. I said, cover me, bro. And he said, I can't, man. And Nick Patrick, I end up rolling out of the ring and getting disqualified. And then, man, that was a rough injury. It felt like somebody taking a hot knife and sticking it right in my groin area. That's how bad it hurt.
Gosh.
And it hurt for about 6 months after that. I had to, find myself up. And what's crazy is in that area where I pulled my groin, I still have a big knot right in that area.
To this day?
To this day, yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Hey, it's one of those things, but a king never takes a day off.
Never.
Hey,
King
hey,
never.
what do you think though about Gunther? Okay, so this is on NXT 2.0. Last week we saw Walter make his debut. Walter was in the NXT UK, one of the longest reigning champs, I think, ever, maybe. Somebody who you've touted on this show quite a bit.
Yeah, man.
And he came in, he looked great. And then earlier in the day on Tuesday, there was this story going around about like this trademark WWE had for Gunther Stark, which they've since dropped, by the way. They've dropped the trademark, but it had to do with a Nazi leader, had the same name. I don't know why they went with that name, but that's besides the point. But at the end of NXT, Walter became Gunther.
Yeah.
And had like a complete change from one week over to the next. I know that you've gone by several monikers in your career. You were G.I. Bro, you were Cole, you were King Booker, you were Booker T, obviously.
Yeah.
But what do you think?
I was just Booker at one time when they
they took the T away from you.
Took the T away from me as well. So
it might be one of the worst stories in the history of wrestling. You and Ahmed Johnson battling over the T.
Yeah, I thought so as well, but that's another story.
But let me ask, what do you think of that? Because Walter already had an established name brand. I think he was even in the Rumble, I believe, maybe before as Walter. I may have made that up, but we had seen him for a long time and known this name, and now he's got to go completely different, and he's going with Gunther.
Yeah, man. Well, thing is, he's not in NXT UK anymore. Okay, that's one thing, and I'm not trying to, make an excuse or anything like that for why change his name or anything like that. Because, like you said, I've touted Walter. I've said for a long time, this guy needs to be out of NXT UK. He needs to be over here. He needs to be on the main roster, and everybody from that side of the world need to be supporting him to bring more and more ratings to this show. We got a diamond here, and we need to, let him shine. That's what I've always said about Walter. Now, Walter, of course, having the name change has caused a stir on the internet, on social media. A lot of people don't like it, and the thing is, it's not something that I like either. But it's not my business to think about what his name is or on. And my thing is this, let's just step back for a second. We was having the same conversation 3 months ago, maybe, with Steiner and Breaker. And now, do anybody think about Braun Breaker now? Is anybody thinking about it? No one is saying. I'm serious. Is anybody saying anything about? Everybody's talking about how freaking awesome Braun Breaker is. That's the only thing I hear now. And now, of course, Walter is his real name. Of course, that may cause some kind of conflict from a, logistic perspective. I don't know. But changing his name, I don't think that's something that is going to hinder him or hurt him in any way when he goes out there and perform in the middle of the ring. I think people forget it pretty soon.
So you think this is a big much to do about nothing?
No, I don't. No, I don't say a much to do about nothing because it's huge. I say that because I remember when I came to WCW and they changed my name to Cole from Booker T. It happened to me, and I'm gonna tell you right now, I did not feel the same at all being Cole. When I performed, when I did promos, it didn't feel the same, with my brother and I. Hell, it didn't even feel the same when they changed my music to the rap song. Okay, so those changes, they may affect you in certain ways. And with something like this, I would hope that it wouldn't affect Walter because he's a hell of a talent, more than anything. And same with myself, Kane and Cole, it just didn't work out. I wouldn't talk to Eric Bischoff and those guys. I go, man, and Dusty Rhodes, we were like, man, we need our old names back. It was like something was missing, So I understand everybody and the way they feel about Walter because, like I say, dude's talent. And I just hope that the name change is not going to, slow him down any.
I think that it's probably somewhat weird, especially when you've been wrestling under a name that's your own name for so long, like you said with Booker T. And all of a sudden it's like, oh yeah, but by the way, we're gonna go Cole, we're gonna go Gunther. I think Gunther it could be any origin, but it sounds German. I don't think Walter's German. I think he's an Englishman. Both European, sure. But you got to be able to connect with something, right? Like, what if he doesn't connect with Gunther?
That, the thing is, there's a possibility. And one thing about WWE also, they've been known to shift gears and give guys name changes and repackaging all the time. You know what I mean? So I can't say this is something that's set in stone or anything like that, just because, like you said, the trademark that was being looked at, they dropped it and just went with the first part. Who's to say that they may feel like, man, this is not working and change it again, and hopefully the next change could be Walter.
It could be. I mean,
but the thing is, losing that momentum, making people feel a certain way for just that moment. Could it be something? Yeah, of course it could. That's why I say I hope Walter is talented enough to be able to work his way up work his way past that. Let's just say that.
I mean, they do this, right? Like when the War Raiders came up from NXT, they were changed to the Viking Experience. And Ray Rowe's name was changed to Eric. And there's Ivar, who's
Drop.
There's Dewdrop, who is Piper Niven. But with the Viking Experience, they did listen to the crowd to a certain extent, because then they changed it to the Viking Raiders. From the War Raiders to the Viking Experience to the Viking Raiders. But my thing is, I don't know if it works. Why change it unless there's a very specific reason? I won't say who, but one time we had somebody come into reality wrestling who had a certain name, and you said, "Hey, I want to change your last name," right? Because I don't want that name for a specific reason being chanted at you, right?
Yeah.
And that one I understood. I was like, okay, he's got an established name, but I understand why you would want to do that. That makes a lot of sense, right?
Yeah.
So if it makes sense, I can get behind it. I don't understand, I guess, the reasoning behind going from Walter to Gunther. I mean, they're similar names, kind of, unless you just are afraid that if he goes away from WWE, he still owns that IP of Walter, because that is his real name. Like you own Booker T because you are Booker T. That's who you are. You're not Robert T.O., by the way, for everybody on the internet, but you're actually are Booker T. So I get that, but I just think that it's an unnecessary change just to change.
Like I say, man, there again, hopefully gears get shifted, and you never know what's going to happen. But I'm a big fan. I'm a big fan of Walter. I think I'm still going to be a fan of Gunther. Okay, I'm just like I said on the kickoff show. I know we got to take a break. I said I'm not a big fan of the name Madcap Moss. I said, but if he can go out there and whoop somebody's ass, he might make me a fan. All right, stick around, guys. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute. How about yourself? As far as that grind, how much do you actually embrace it? How much do you actually feel like that is a part of this journey?
Oh, man. Well, thankfully now the scene in where I'm from, I'm living in Oklahoma right now, and I wrestle in Texas. But thankfully now the scene is kind of growing with the streaming platforms, with places like Reality of Wrestling down there in Texas. You get a bigger buzz here, but for years it was hard. And so you had to get out there and travel. So there'd be many a nights where I was on the road by myself, 7, 8, 9, 10-hour drives there and back, sacrificing time with my family, sacrificing time at my real job, trying to just make ends meet. But when you really love this, and I tell people this all the time, some people just love coming through the curtain. You can't just love coming through the curtain.
Yeah.
When you really love this, you fall in love with the ground. Before you go down, so hate squats, man. I hate deadlifts. But if you really love this, you got to learn to love all of it. Every facet of it, every bit of sacrifice, every bit of time that you're losing with birthdays, loved ones, all of that.
Yeah.
When you really want it, when you really sacrifice, and when you start to see it pay off, you realize all of that is worth it and then some for this.
Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. Real talk, man. Real talk right there. But what we got, man? What we got?
Well, you want to talk about the current status of Ali? Mustafa Ali.
Mustafa. It's Mustafa. Mustafa
Okay.
Ali. Still under contract with WWE as of right now. And the thing is, maybe that's a good thing. You know what I mean? For Mustafa. I know sometimes you speak up and you ticked off about something, you'll say anything. You know what I mean? So maybe time to cool down a little bit, maybe time to think about it a little bit, maybe even have a real conversation, because sometimes I know you can get some respect when you speak your mind. Okay, I got a saying. This is my saying. I heard Mustafa Ali got into an argument with Vince McMahon not too long ago. I don't know how true that is, but I got a saying, and that saying is, when you 99%, you shut the hell up. All right, but when you're 100%, you speak up 100% of the time, and sometimes you might get fired. but you're gonna walk away with your head high. And if you get fired there, you might break something on the way out just for the hell of it. I'm serious. You know what I mean? Just because I don't care at this point. I don't care at this point. And when people get there, sometimes that's when people sometimes start listening. I could be wrong. I could be wrong on this, but I think Ali is talent, and I think the character, like I said, that he pitched, that I saw, was a good character that could perhaps be used. Maybe somebody sit back and say, "Man, let's rethink this."
I don't know if it's good or bad. Only from this is, and you probably know this too, is when you're under a contract with a certain company or organization, and you've gotten to the point to where you do not have any desire to fulfill the needs of that contract, your obligations, right? It's a terrible place to be mentally, right? That sucks to have to get up and go to a job that you don't want to be at. What?
Think about this for 1 second. You remember how miserable CM Punk was before the pipe bomb moment?
Right.
And then all of a sudden, boom, rocket on him, send him straight to the moon. Am I right? Am I right on air or not? Right?
He got everything that he wanted.
Mustafa
Well,
Ali.
almost.
Mustafa Ali, like I say, could perhaps be in that same position. Like I say, sometimes you speak up, somebody listen and say, well, maybe he's right. Okay. And I think that's what it takes sometimes. Sometimes it takes getting to that point to where you really do not care anymore. When you get to that point right there, you hold all the power. You really do. And I think there again, to lose a talent like Ali, because he is someone that's catering to a country. And I talk about this all the time. I talk about these UFC fights. We talk about Cyril Gane and Francis Ngannou getting ready to go down here in Houston at the Toyota Center this weekend. These two guys got a country's behind them. They got so many people behind them that's going to buy in. This pay-per-view is $100 with these two brothers. One from the Bush, one from the Mandingo tribe. You know what I mean? And they about to go out here and make all this money. So,
but they have a country behind them, is what you're saying.
Because they got a country behind them. Ali, same way. And to lose a guy like that, you really got to sit back and think about it for a second. I think. Am I wrong here or not?
I think you need to think about it as yourself, but also as the company. Maybe that's what they said.
No,
They're like, maybe we can.
I'm talking about from the company.
Oh, from the company standpoint, yeah,
I'm talking about from the company's perspective.
100%.
They got to sit back for a second and say, "Wait a minute, guys, what the hell? Let's think about this for a second. Let's just not make some rash decision." You know what I mean? So that's what I'm talking about. This is business.
I get that it's business. I get it. But again, Toni Storm, she had country behind her, right? She's from Europe, she's from the UK.
Yeah.
She packed up and got up out of there. Said, I want my release.
We don't know what our problem was, though.
We don't know. We don't know. But
we don't know what our problem was. She could, be with a child.
That's what you think always. Sasha Banks was on our show years ago, and she was out with an injury. And you're like, the rumors are flying. Are you with child? It was the first time I'd heard anybody ever ask that question of anyone in that way.
Look, and man, I got to know. Okay.
Are you with child?
I mean, we don't know. We don't know. I mean, I'm serious. I mean, women got the prerogative to, do that whenever they want. We have nothing to do with it. So why is that?
We have something to do with it.
Why is that?
Look,
why is that not a valid question? Okay. It's a valid question.
Hey, look, I hear what you're saying on Ali. I want to ask you one other thing, because I know our last segment, we got to talk about the UFC. Alexa Bliss has been out for quite some time, right? Since her feud with Charlotte Flair ended. She was doing the Fiend character. Now, since she's been gone, Bray Wyatt's been released. She's been doing the Fiend character even after that. She's in these kind of psychiatrist segments on Raw.
Yeah.
What do you think if you were, I know you don't like to book the show, but if you were Alexa, and you're looking at it from your perspective as the talent, do you say, I still got some juice in this Fiend character, or you know what, let me go back to Alexa Bliss, who was the Raw SmackDown Women's Champion, really making a nice little run there? Like, what do you think that she should do if you were in her shoes?
See, I hate booking shows, man.
I know you do, but I just want to know what you think.
You know what? I hate talking about that kind of stuff just because I had one of my students, Tracy Moore, okay? I gave him the name just last couple of weeks ago. And he came to me and he was talking to me about a character, that he wanted to do, and I say, man, I need to teach you how to work before you even start thinking about a character. Before you start thinking about getting a t-shirt, let's figure out how to do this. Okay, let's do that. Alexa Bliss is in a position to where she could easily go in there and say, look, I don't like this. I want to do something else. I want to do this. And for me, I don't know, but I just personally, I've never been one of those people. Okay, if I'm doing something, just say, for instance, the G.I. Bro character. I remember being in the bathroom, putting my war paint on one day, and getting myself together, getting in my G.I. Bro mode. And I remember Dallas Page, he'll tell you this story. He walked in the bathroom and he looked at me and he goes, bro, what are you doing? Like, he was so disappointed in me, man. I swear to God. And I look back at him and I go, man, I'm just having some fun. That's the way I looked at it. It wasn't, so I could see Alexa Bliss right there saying the exact same thing when somebody walking down her and say, sis, what are you doing? I'm having some fun. And I've got a whole lot of merch going too right now, so I'm happy. So, did you see what was your last quarter? So I'm serious, man. When I look at it, that's the way I look at it. I don't look at it anywhere near the way the fan is looking at it, because they're looking at, I don't like Alexa Bliss doing this because they're fans. And I understand that. I get it. But for me, I'm sitting in Alexa Bliss's shoes, and I'm G.I. Bro in the mirror putting my paint on, and Dallas Page asked me, what am I doing? I understand both sides. So I say she run with it until she can't, because she could always go back to Alexa Bliss.
Right. Run till the wheels fall off. Real quick, before we have to take a break, this is our
Super Chat
from Roland Curtis, who says, are WWE writers trolling the Hall of Fame podcast? Becky's promo echoed what you guys said on Monday. First, Lynch called her doo-doo, and then she said a dewdrop is never going to be a champion, not as long as I run this industry.
Hey, man, I'm sure they're trolling the show. Come on. It's the Hall of Fame. I'm sure they're listening to it because we telling it like it is, first and foremost. And dewdrop, she might have to just go out there and win the title and rename herself back to her old name.
Hyper Niven.
So my thing is, it's a lot of meat on this bone. It's a lot of. I got some steak going downstairs. That's why I'm thinking about meat on bone. But I think it's a lot. I think it's a lot there and to work with. So I say, work with it. If you hear someone in the Hall of Fame, run with it. Just give us a credit or something.
No, they don't give us credit. I know there's been things discussed on this show and things that we've done on reality wrestling that just ends up on television weirdly. On WWE and on AEW. Things just say, what I mean? I'm not saying that anybody.
Right you know what? You don't want to say it, but I'm gonna tell you right now. We got Naomi and Push. Stick around. You're in the Hall of Fame. We'll be back in a minute.
So when I think back of my time on the Independents, I was there for a long time. I was busting my ass for 15 years on the Independents before I made it to WWE. And for a long time, for I would say 95% of those 15 years, I had no idea if WWE even knew who I was, you know, so I had no contact with them, no any kind of hope that I was going to make it here. I had hope, but I had no reason to believe that I would, except for my own belief in myself. But the independent was crucial in keeping that passion alive, you know, and it didn't matter if it was 20 people, 200 people, 2,000 people. On the independent scene, you get to have this interaction with fans and the fan base that's unlike anything, you know, the scope of WWE. We get to interact with our fans, but nothing like on the independent scene. You're out there selling your own merch. You're out there hustling, trying to make as much money as you can. And that whole experience really kept my passion for wrestling alive, even though I didn't know if it was going anywhere. I wouldn't be who I am without that time I spent on the independent. So it's crucial for anybody, I think, to have that time.
Perfect. Can you dig it, sucker? Welcome back inside the Hall of Fame, guys. It's our last segment, man. We got to get out of here.
It's our last one.
We got to talk some UFC here in a minute. But what else we got before we get Super Chat? Oh, that is.
Booker T, if you could go back in time, which match would you run back between the Elimination Chamber or facing Rikishi?
That's two hard choices right there, dog. That's two hard choices, man. Get that stink face. You know what, man? I'd rather, you know, as stupid as this sounds, I'd rather wrestle Rikishi back before I go back in that elimination chamber, man. I'm serious, man. The Rikishi thing, man, it was all smoke and mirrors. You know what I mean? He really didn't have his ass in my face. That really didn't happen. You know what I mean? So I cupped it to the side to where it actually in the camera, man, one of my favorite buddies, Marty Miller, he had the right angle on it to make it look like it was in my face, but it wasn't, you know what I mean? So yeah, that's what I run back.
Let's talk about it going down this weekend in I think in Las Vegas this weekend, maybe Las Vegas, Nevada. Cyril Gane, Francis Ngannou, unification bout for the heavyweight championship of the world and the Ultimate Fighting Championship. I will say, I know it's $100 price tag. This is a really anticipated fight for me. I'm really excited to see the results of this because you had the Predator Francis Ngannou when he came in. It looked like he was going to be unstoppable. He ran into Stipe Miocic. He had the weird fight with Derek Lewis. And then after that, he's been right back where he's been. As the UFC champion, he beat Stipe in their rematch. And then he's had some contractual issues with the UFC, some promotional issues. And then here comes Cyril Gane. Cyril Gane in Houston. We saw this physical specimen go in there and decimate the Black Beast, Derek Lewis, who is not an easy out for anybody. But he dominated, and the Beast was admit to that. He dominated him. And now these two Frenchmen are going to fight each other for the UFC championship, a country which, by the way, had MMA illegal until 2020. We have two Frenchmen battling for the UFC championship.
And what's so ironic about this, man, I said this was going to happen well before it ever happened. All right? I said this match was destined to be made. It had to be made because there was so much money involved with putting these two against each other and having them go to war inside the cage. So for me, it's a great matchup. It's a great matchup. Francis said the money is not right, but once I go out here and show the world how good I really am by beating Cyril Gane, they have no choice but to pay me. You know what I mean? Pay me the top dollar. So I understand where Francis is right now, but he's got a man in front of him and Cyril Gane and he's different. He's light on his feet. His wrestling is really, really good. And that those two combinations right there, man, is a monster. Just to watch this big guy move around the ring from a balanced perspective, it's different. But we do know one thing about that mean, nasty African. If he catch you with that shot, you're going out. You're going to sleep. If Ngannou hits you with one shot clean, I think he can knock out any man in the world. And so it's up for grabs. Would I be betting on this fight right here? If I was a betting man, I would, but I'm not, because it could go either way. And I don't know. I really don't know who to pick, to be honest.
It's a hard fight to pick. According to ESPN.com, Francis Ngannou is the underdog at plus 130. Cyril Gane's the favorite at minus 155. That's almost a pick 'em, though. It's almost even.
You know what, man? If I had to, I'm gonna tell you right now. If I had to pick in this fight, and I'm picking right now, I'm gonna pick Francis Ngannou. And the reason why I'm picking Francis Ngannou is we really haven't seen Francis Ngannou have to work on the ground at all. And the few times that I've seen Francis, even in his infancy stages of this fight game, he had something. And the thing is, do Francis Ngannou have a wrestling background? Do he come from a collegiate style of wrestling? No, not at all. But George St. Pierre, not that he have that background, but he was a really, really good wrestler. He was a really good defensive wrestler, as well as he had an explosive takedown if you found yourself in that position. I really think we may see something different from Francis Ngannou in a couple of days in Houston, Texas.
He's going to have to bring something out, right? He's going to have to bring something different. This fight, he can't fight. And by the way, it's in Anaheim, California this weekend. But he's going to have to bring something else. He can't just do I'm just going to load up and hopefully I catch my shot. Not with a guy like Cyril Gane. It's not going to work.
My thing is this. If Francis Ngannou fight Cyril Gane from a stand-up, I think he can beat him just as well. Both guys cancel each other out, I think, from a stand-up. I think it's going to come down to the ground fighting. I think Cyril Gane is going to be thinking about getting Ngannou on the ground more so than trying to stand up and fight with him. I think that's where Ngannou is in his element, standing up and fighting. So I don't see that happening. I think the best route is for Cyril Gane to really put his wrestling on highlight if he wants to go out there and win that fight. Because I think putting himself in a stand-up with Ngannou, he's putting himself in a war a war that he could actually lose in the worst way. And we've seen Ngannou knock guys out, and it's frightening sometimes the power that this guy generate in that shot. So I don't see that. I don't see that playing out that way.
I mean, yeah, he's definitely given up. According to ESPN stats, is what I'm reading for UFC 270. He's given up, he being Cyril Gane, almost 20 pounds to Francis Ngannou in the heavyweight division. 20 pounds is pretty serious. That's a pretty serious discrepancy.
Yeah.
And you don't want to catch a shot from a guy who weighs 20 pounds more than you, especially when that guy's north of 260, nearing 270, and who has that freak power of a Francis Ngannou. I do agree with you to where when you look at these two on paper, if Cyril Gane's going to go out there and get the job done, which he is the favorite, he's 10-0. He hadn't lost before. We haven't found his weakness. He seems to be a super athlete. Use that athleticism. You're going to have to wrestle him down. You're going to have to. You can't stand there in the middle of the octagon and throw those shots and just hope that he doesn't catch you on the chin. I think Cyril Gane can take some abuse, but I don't think any man should stand there and do that. So he's going to dance around him a little bit, but I just don't. I'm with you. I can't really see how this one plays out. I'm kind of leaning towards Cyril, but I think that's really recency bias. We haven't seen Francis Ngannou in quite some time, and I just recently saw Cyril in live and in living color when I was amazed and impressed by him. So it's a pick-em fight for me. I'm leaning towards Cyril, but I don't know why.
Hey man, there again, it definitely could go that way. Cyril Gunn could easily win this fight. But my thing is, it's not a fight that, like I said, if I was, sitting at the betting, table, I would be really, really confident either way. In that fight, I'd be waiting in high anticipation, somebody to get hit and somebody to go to sleep and be wondering which one is going to be from the outset, from the beginning bell. That's what I would be wondering in that fight right there, and until it actually happens. So I'm looking forward to it. I screwed up. I thought that was the fight that was going to be here in Houston, but that's the
Israel.
The Adesanya fight. Yeah, definitely. I want to make sure I'm there for that. Yeah, man. If, like I said, if I had to pick him, it's going to be Francis Ngannou by knockout.
Whoa.
No, because the thing is, just think about it for a second. We still got a minute or so before we got to get out of here.
About 60 seconds.
Just think about it for a minute here. How many top rank, top name guys have we watched Cyril Gunn go out there and dismantle, other than the Black Beast?
Not many other in the top 10, I don't think.
Exactly my point. So that's what we still wonder.
No one in the top 5.
Still on the fence, how good this guy is. Of course, he beat Derek Lewis. Derek Lewis is a monster if he can land that shot. But when you got someone on his toes like a Cyril Gunn, moving around, landing that kick, it's kind of hard. He was. I just think the Black Beast was fighting uphill in a fight like that. So we really still don't know how good Cyril Gunn really truly is. We're gonna find out on Saturday night. I'll be checking it out. Somehow, some way. But that's another story. But I want to thank all you guys for sticking it out in the Hall of Fame with me today. All the super chatters. We really appreciate you guys. Always, man. Brad, my wingman, always making it happen. Boo. There it is. I put an alarm on you guys right there. It sounds good. It's some of the Nigerian nightmare music for that Ngannou. But guys, we got to get out of here. We'll see y'all next week. Peace. Can you dig it?